the TV industry is transfixed by what is an extraordinary scandal at NBC, imperiling the face of the network's news division, Brian Williams. The nightly news anchor admitted to embellishing a story about coming under fire in Iraq in 2003. And that matters because, well, Brian Williams, let me put it this way. This country has no Walter Cronkite anymore. But Brian Williams is the closest thing to Cronkite we have left. But now he has benched himself, as one source said to me, while NBC figures out what is true and what's not true. Here's what Brian Williams said in a statement yesterday to his colleagues. It has become painfully apparent to me that I am presently too much a part of the news due to my actions. As managing editor of NBC News, I have decided to take myself off of my daily broadcast for the next several days. He went on to say, upon my return, I will continue my career-long effort to be worthy of the trust of those who place their trust in us. So he says he will be back. But to be honest, others are not so sure, even some people at NBC this morning. So here are the latest developments. Lester Holt, the weekend nightly news anchor, will be filling in for Brian Williams starting tomorrow. It's unclear for how long. Meanwhile, NBC's investigative unit is checking all of the facts, trying to figure out what really happened in Iraq and in New Orleans, and we'll get to that a little later in the program. Now, Brian Williams was scheduled to be on The Late Show with David Letterman this Thursday, and CBS tells me that's going to go forward. But I'm told by a source close to Brian Williams that it's actually undecided whether he will appear. Now, our experts have a lot to say about whether Williams, and I hate saying these words, but whether Williams can survive this. And we have the first TV interviews with two pilots who were there that day with Williams, one who flew with the anchor and one who actually came under attack. But before we get to them, let's see how this story evolved from a truth to a lie.
Routine, yes.
The first report was broadcast just a week or so after the beginning of the Iraq War. In a segment for NBC's Dateline, Brian Williams recounted a harrowing incident under fire. The date, March 26, 2003.
Our colleague Brian Williams is back in Kuwait City tonight after a close call in the skies over Iraq.
In his report, Williams says he was traveling with a group of 4 Army helicopters based in Kuwait, large ones called Chinooks. They can carry troops and, in this case, equipment to build bridges in Iraq so motorized units could cross a river.
On the ground, we learned the Chinook ahead of us was almost blown out of the sky. That hole was made by a rocket-propelled grenade, or RPG.
After that attack, all 4 choppers landed, and a sandstorm grounded all of them for 3 days and 2 nights. The Army sent soldiers to guard the choppers as well as Williams and his team. In that initial report, he makes no further mention of the RPG attack, or that his helicopter took fire. He does say soldiers told him they spotted 4 Iraqis with what looked like an RPG during their first night in the desert.
What we didn't know was we were north of the invasion. We were the northernmost Americans in Iraq.
Fast forward 10 years.
Our good friend Brian Williams.
10 years later to the day, March 26, 2013. Brian Williams told that story to David Letterman, except this time saying he was on one of 2 Army choppers that were hit both by RPGs and small arms fire.
2 of our 4 helicopters were hit by ground fire, including the one I was in.
No kidding.
RPG and AK-47.
The question, of course, is what exactly happened in those 10 years to make Williams change his story? As with all war stories, it's complicated, and Williams' version slowly evolved. A few months after the helicopter incident, NBC News published this book, Operation Iraqi Freedom. In it, the account is vague. No mention of which helicopter was attacked or where exactly it took place. The story didn't really resurface until a few years later, when Williams returned to Iraq. In a blog post in 2007, Williams celebrated the life of Wayne Downing, a retired Army general who was an NBC News military analyst who was in the chopper with Williams that day in 2003. Williams referenced the Iraq incident again. Some men on the ground fired an RPG through the tail rotor of the chopper flying in front of ours, Williams wrote. There was small arms fire. A chopper pilot took a bullet through the earlobe. All 4 choppers dropped their heavy loads and landed quickly and hard on the desert floor. Williams' obituary for Downing began with the incident, and the obituary left the impression that Williams and the general were forced down by enemy fire.
When the Chinook helicopters we were traveling in at the start of the Iraq War were fired on and forced down for 3 days in a stretch of hostile desert.
In 2008, in a different blog post, Williams added a new detail. This time, all 4 choppers took fire. He wrote, all 4 of our low-flying Chinooks took fire. We were forced down and stayed down. Then, in 2013, to mark the 10th anniversary of the start of the Iraq War, Williams went on The Letterman Show. And he also talked with the actor Alec Baldwin about it for a radio podcast. Instead of just writing about it, now he was telling the story of bullets fired into his helicopter.
I've done some ridiculously stupid things, like being in a helicopter I had no business being in Iraq, with rounds coming into the airframe. But
Did you think you would die?
Briefly, sure.
And then this, just about 10 days ago, when Williams was at a New York Rangers hockey game and appeared with an Army Sergeant Major who was in Iraq and with the helicopter unit at the time. The soldier had helped protect Williams and his team. Now, a big change in the story. This is how he told it on NBC Nightly News.
The story actually started with a terrible moment a dozen years back during the invasion of Iraq, when the helicopter we were traveling in was forced down after being hit by an RPG.
The previous version had evolved to all 4 choppers being fired upon. This latest one added the RPG. Some soldiers who also were there began speaking out, saying on Facebook they had no memory of Williams being on the one chopper that did take a rocket-propelled grenade. And were all of the helicopters told to land because they had been fired upon? Or was it because of that sandstorm? Truth is a tricky thing in war. Now let's hear what actually happened on the helicopter that actually took RPG and small arms fire. Don Hellis was one of the pilots. He says he noticed Brian Williams inaccurately telling the story more than a decade ago and wrote to NBC about it. He also says he never heard anything back, and he's sharing his story for the first time on television this morning. Mr. Hellis, thank you for calling in from Enterprise, Alabama this morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Tell me, do you know where Brian Williams was at the moment that your helicopter was hit by the RPG?
Well, we had a lot going on, but I am pretty sure he was not in our flight at all.
Meaning he must have been so far away that he couldn't see the incident happen?
Yes, I mean, because, we had 2 units, each had a different mission. They're separated, by time. Their destination may be different from what our destination is, so it can put time in between the 2 flights as they're heading up north.
And when is the first time that you ever heard Brian Williams describe what happened inaccurately?
When I had returned back to Kuwait for repairs on the aircraft, a friend of mine had alerted me of the story, and basically asked me if we had Brian Williams on our flight, which I told him not. We did not. And then he showed me a video of it on the internet, because at the time, that was the first time I'd seen internet in a while.
So you were in Kuwait. This was what, April of 2003? It was very early in the Iraq War?
Oh, yes. Yeah, like I said, after the sandstorm, we had just gotten back. Our aircraft had to go into maintenance for about 2 or 3 weeks.
This is crucial, Mr. Hellis, because according to the timeline that we've been looking at for the past several days, it wasn't until about 2007 that Brian Williams began to embellish this story about being actually nearby or even on the chopper that was struck by the RPG. So you're saying you heard it on television in 2003?
Well, I'm saying I heard it on the internet. That was an interview.
An internet video of the television segment, yeah.
Yes.
So to be clear, there's a Tom Brokaw interview of Brian Williams from a couple days after this incident where he does seem to accurately say that this happened to a different chopper, not his own. But what we don't know is whether there are other videos in the NBC archives from, say, April of 2003 where Brian Williams goes further. Unfortunately, records from those times are incomplete. There aren't transcripts of every single segment on NBC or MSNBC from that time. So we haven't been able to find the video that you saw. But you wrote to NBC, and what did you say when you wrote in?
Well, I wrote to MSNBC at the time because that was a website I went to.
Right, and NBC, we should tell our viewers at home. I'm sorry, I was just going to tell our viewers at home that at the time, MSNBC.com was the website for NBC News. So that's why you went to MSNBC.com.
Correct.
And you wrote to NBC to do what? To get them to correct it?
Just to alert them that the facts were incorrect, because, stating that Mr. Williams was not part of our flight. He was in a different flight.
In 2007 at Fairfield University in Connecticut, Brian Williams said a different version of the story. I want to play that soundbite for you and get your reaction.
A few years before that, you go back to Iraq, and I looked down the tube of an RPG that had been fired at us, and it hit the chopper in front of ours.
Is it possible that he was able to look down the tube of a rocket-propelled grenade launcher?
Well, I guess if he's that close, then he's got bigger problems. The only thing that you see coming off of an RPG is the smoke trail and the explosion. Like I said, if you're that close, you had bad luck.
I'm trying to keep an open mind about Brian Williams. I've been inspired by Brian Williams for years. I've admired him for years. I wonder if you admire him. I wonder how you feel about him, given that you tried to contact NBC about this so long ago.
I try to keep an unbiased opinion on him. I mean, granted, we have embellishers in the military. We have them in the civilian world that try to, tell a story of their war medals and their time in combat. We have the same thing, and I assume that you as journalists have the same in yours. The fact is that Mr. Williams wasn't in or near our aircraft at the time, and it saddens me that you have so many other combat journalists out there that are in that type of situation. Seeing those things happen, and more likely they probably don't tell the story like that, with embellishment.
Mr. Hellis, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
And Brian Williams says what happened was an innocent series of mistakes. So where was he that day? Well, he was on board another chopper in Iraq. He was taking a risk by being embedded with the troops, but he was not on the chopper that was hit. That's according to the soldiers on board of that chopper, as you just heard from Mr. Hellis. So now, for his first TV interview, a pilot of Williams' chopper is speaking out. His name is Chief Alan Kelly, and he joined me earlier from Minneapolis. Chief Alan Kelly, thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Is it right to say that Brian Williams was aboard your helicopter and not aboard the helicopter that was shot at in Iraq that day?
That's correct. He was aboard my aircraft that day in March.
What was your aircraft doing, and was it ever within sight of the Chinook that was shot at?
My aircraft, along with the Chalk 1, I was Chalk 2 in a flight of 2 Chinooks. We were carrying bridge pieces up to the Euphrates. We were afraid they were going to blow the bridges, and we wanted to make sure Third ID had the capability of crossing the Euphrates. As far as the Chinook from Big Windy that was shot down, we were not within visual range of them, and they would have to be almost on top of us with the sandstorm that we were flying through in order to get up there.
So what sort of distance was there between your helicopter with Brian Williams aboard and the helicopter that did take fire?
Well, that would be difficult to ascertain. We both took off in separate serials. The Big Windy crew, my understanding, was 2 aircraft, and they had hooked up with their loads ahead of us. So initially we were probably a half hour behind them, but with the sandstorms, the weather that we ran into, we had to slow up. I'm sure they did as well. So it's anybody's guess the exact distance, but I'd say it was probably somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes.
Do you think it's possible that Williams and his crew thought they were being shot at? Is there anything that happened on your flight that may have seemed like there was an attack?
Anything's possible. It's they're sitting in the back. I don't remember if they were hooked up on headsets or not and could hear what's going on. We had a lot of stuff going on the radios. We had a couple of aircraft that were calling in for help. They were being shot down, Big Windy being one of them. So Mr. Williams in the back, he's free to look out the windows back there. He wouldn't see much. If he was on headset and heard the radio calls over guard, it's possible he could have thought that, I suppose.
Yeah, and I do want to give him and his crew the benefit of the doubt here, but since you've heard the apology he issued on air, How do you feel about this entire situation, these exaggerations? Are you personally offended by it?
I don't make any judgments on that. Everybody has to live with the life they choose to lead. I was there to do a job, part of a volunteer army. I did my job. Part of that mission was to carry Mr. Williams and his crew with him up to Objective Rams. If he made mistakes, I mean, we're all human. But I make no judgments on him in that regard.
Chief Kelly, thank you for sharing what you remember from that day. I appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
NBC has not responded to my requests for comment about these soldiers' accounts, but NBC investigators have been in touch with both Hellis and Kelly as part of an effort now to fact check what happened.